So they actually have their dogs run out on a platform and see how far they can jump. They'll throw a toy and they'll go out into the water and grab it. And so it's a competition to see how far they can jump.
Yeah,
it's a spectacle.
It is.
To see.
You can get real close to the pool and like when the dogs land, the water will splash you. The kids love it.
Wow, so it's kind of like SeaWorld with Shamu.
That's how we roll in the mountains, man. We got dogs splashing you.
Yeah.
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. We're glad y'all are tuning in. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for tuning in on radio. We appreciate our radio partners out there. If you're listening on iTunes, you can find us out there on a lot of the podcasting platforms, and we're on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So we are all over the place, and we appreciate y'all tuning in and listening to this show. It's all about Tennessee outdoors and what the TWRA is doing, and even what's going on around us. So like today, we're meeting the mountains. There's a Meet the Mountains Festival happening in Johnson City, and we're going to learn about that today. It's a chance to bring all kinds of user groups together and use the outdoors and enjoy the outdoors. So my guests are Kayla Carter, and she's with the Meet the Mountains Festival group, and then we have Mr. John Simmerly. He's with the BHA, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, and we've met a few of those guys in the past on this show, and we're glad to have John with us. And then I've got Mr. Matt Cameron as my co-host. He's the Region 4 Information Specialist here. Man of a lot of knowledge here in East Tennessee, right?
Yeah. You get paid well, don't you? You do.
So anyway, Matt's a great guy, and he helps us co-host here in Region 4 and pulls some of these shows together, and we appreciate him doing that. Glad to have you guys.
Yeah,
Glad to be here.
Good to be here.
We're going to learn about Meet the Mountains Festival, and Kayla is the Outdoor Development Manager. I pulled this off the website, so you can fix it if it's not right. Northeast Tennessee Regional Economic Partnership. Tell us what that is real quick.
Sure. It's a private-public partnership. It's an economic development organization. So about 2 years ago, they identified that the outdoors is one of those quality of life components that, attracts talent, keeps talent to the area. And that's kind of where my job was born out of, trying to, figure out ways we can support and invest in outdoor recreation, and hopefully stemming from all of that, we'd have more people stay in the area to take up jobs and create jobs and put some more economic vitality into our region. So.
Okay, awesome. And then this festival, Meet the Mountains, came out of the group you work with, I guess.
Yeah, it's a project that we started to try to bring together our outdoor enthusiasts in the region so that we could kind of showcase all the different outdoor assets that we have, and assets in terms of, clubs and ways to get involved, but also assets as in our actual mountains. Mm-hmm. And another part of our mission is just to promote healthy, active lifestyles. So that's why we partner with Ballad Health. They're our presenting sponsor.
Okay. And before we get too far, you talk about all the opportunities and bringing together the partners and things and what the mountains offer. We're going to have Jim Habera with the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency come on toward later in this show. So don't leave us, and he's going to tell us about some of the trout opportunities up in this area. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Stay with us the whole show. Don't leave us. So the festival is August 24th through the 23rd through the 24th that weekend. Mm-hmm. It's coming up pretty quick, and at Founders Park. So just give us a little overview real quick on what's going to happen.
Sure. We've got several zones. We've got an air zone, a water zone, an earth zone, and within each of those zones we have activities kind of related to each. So in the earth zone you'll find a bike skills area. Mountain biking is becoming really popular in our area, especially with Tannery Knobs coming online and people actually getting to go out and try out the park. So we'll have group rides going up there as a little bit of off-site activity. And then in the water zone we've got a big demo pool. You can try out kayaking and paddle boarding. In the air zone, we'll have a zip line this year. That's new.
Cool.
So we'll also have some other things like yoga. So the air zone's kind of that catch-all zone for some of the, we'll have rock climbing, things that you kind of do in the air.
No airplanes.
No
flying. Okay.
We did have some people ask us if we could do some drones, but I don't know. We'll figure that out later. We're going to focus on.
Let's stay away from electronics on this festival, even though we use a lot of electronic devices to get this information out.
This is a come out and experience nature kind of festival, and there's a lot to offer.
Unplug. get
Yeah.
outside. Yeah.
Upper East Tennessee.
One new zone we have this year is the Marketplace Zone. That's sponsored by Blue Ridge Outdoors, so we're really excited to have that partnership. And we'll have a silent auction and gear swap going on in there. So
Tell us about that.
Yeah.
yeah, the gear swap, it's more like a yard sale, so people can come and bring their used gear and put their name on it and a telephone number and their price, and people can kind of barter back and forth for some of their gear. And then the silent auction is actually called Gear for Good, and our local outfitters, Mahoney's Sports, puts that on, and all of the money they raise from that will go back to a nonprofit. So we're inviting the nonprofits that are involved in the festival to apply to get some proceeds from that auction.
Nice. What, is there anything that is off limits as far as the gear swap goes? Stuff that you don't need to bring?
That's a good question. This is our first year doing it, so I'm sure we'll learn this year that we probably need to make some rules for the next year. But
I can imagine some people taking advantage
yeah,
of that.
we're just going to see what happens this year.
I've got this blender.
No, but it's really a good way to reduce that barrier to entry, because outdoor recreation can be expensive for folks. And so if you're given an opportunity to buy something used and try it out, as opposed to dumping a ton of money into something you're not too sure that you want to do, we felt like that's a good way for people to kind of get introduced to these different activities, which
Yeah.
is another kind of component of the festival. We want to cater to those beginners, but also provide opportunities for the experts to get out there and compete too.
It's a great way to mentor some new outdoors recreationists. You might have the experts there with the knowledge and some people wanting to get into it, and this
Exactly.
brings everyone together, not through electronic devices like we're getting
Right.
so used to, but
Yeah,
a physical
face to
meeting
face.
of people.
Yeah. We really want to change the culture in the area. I think there are a lot of outdoor enthusiasts in Northeast Tennessee, but we really want to see more of that and more people advocating for public land and loving it and giving back to it. So
Cool. That's awesome. I wanted to highlight some of the different zones and what's going to be happening. You mentioned a few, but a chance to try out some paddle boards and kayaks and like demo pool. One that I thought was cool was fly casting and tying. That's a big deal up here in Tennessee, upper East Tennessee. So, do you know who's going to be there doing those classes and teaching some of that?
we've got several partners like Trout Unlimited. Usually, last year they did the fly casting, but this year they're going to do the fly tying.
Okay.
So we're trying to work with Project Healing Waters this year to do the actual casting.
Cool.
So
Good deal. And then the Ultimate Air Dogs, that's in the Air Zone. Tell us about that.
yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. That's like the most popular from last year. Last year was our first year, so this is the second year of the festival. But in our survey, everyone was saying they loved this Ultimate Air Dogs piece that we had brought. And it's, you can actually have your dogs compete in it as well. But most of the time people compete professionally and they travel around to, qualify for bigger shows, and so they actually have their dogs run out on a platform and see how far they can jump. They'll throw a toy and they'll go out into the water and grab it, and so it's a competition
Cool.
to see how far they can jump.
Yeah.
It's a spectacle
It is.
to see
Yeah.
in person how
It's a
far these
blast.
dogs
So you've
can
seen
jump.
this?
Yeah, a time or two. They're serious about it.
You can get real close to the pool, and when the dogs land, the water will splash you. The kids love it.
Wow. So it's kind of like SeaWorld with Shamu.
That's how we roll in the mountains, man. We got dogs splashing you.
Yeah.
It is a dog-friendly festival, so we really wanted people to come and bring their kids and their dogs and have a good time. So.
Cool. That's
Nice.
awesome. One other thing on the Earth Zone, I've seen these one-wheel demos, and I've seen these things. I saw one in Savannah just recently, and somewhere else I was traveling to. But anyway, tell us about the one-wheel deals. What are those?
Yeah, they're exciting. I mean, they're they're I guess we would probably put them more in kind of a motor type of a motorsport category, but they we have a local raft company. It's USA Raft Adventure Resort, and they've really harnessed the power of these one wheels, and I mean it's gaining in popularity. So they're actually doing classes and things at their resort. So they wanted to bring a little bit of that to the festival too, and have people kind of try them out, and they're fun. We see a lot of people zipping around town on them now, kind of like segways. Instead, you just on a little platform. It's kind of like you're riding a snowboard, but there's one wheel below you, and you can tilt forward, and that's how you move forward. And if you tilt back, that's kind of the stop. But
Wow.
it's interesting to figure out how to get on and off of it.
Hopefully
so.
there's like a gimbal or something that keeps it
I think so.
upright.
Yeah, I'm
John's not too sure about it.
Good way to break my neck.
I've seen some folks riding them. It looks like it'd be a challenge, but fun if you could figure it out.
Yeah.
It might be cool to. I mean, it could be dangerous, but taking one up through the mountains on some of these trails
They
or
do.
something.
Really? You can go
they
off-road
do.
with them?
Yeah,
Whoa.
they've been doing a lot of those little trail rides with them up there at the resort. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about the music. There's going to be some music.
Oh, yeah. So this year we've got 2 big headliners on Friday and Saturday. So we'll have Vintage Pistol on Friday, and music starts at 8 each night. And then we'll have the Way Down Wanderers on Saturday. So we're really excited about that.
What kind of music is that? I'm not familiar with those groups.
I'm not the music connoisseur in our planning committee on our crew, but we had a really good person working on that this year for entertainment, and I think she described them kind of as like indie rock.
Cool. Yeah.
And she was really trying to cater to a broader audience with the music, and also make it kid friendly as well.
Sure.
So
Awesome. Yeah, this is going to be a kid friendly event, and it's going to be fun for all ages and all types of people. So the clinics, you're going to be doing one of the clinics. You're going to be hosting one of those, Leave No Trace. Tell us about
Yeah.
that clinic.
Well, it'll just be an awareness workshop. So there's different levels. I can get down into Leave No Trace, so I'll try to be brief.
Sure.
I can really
You're fine, yeah.
ramble off. But I have my master educator. I've done the training for master educator, and so I can do training workshops, but I can also do awareness workshops, and those are better in public settings. So we'll just be touching surface level on all 7 principles of Leave No Trace, and just trying to create more awareness about how to be a responsible person in using our public lands. So there's a lot of we don't like to call them rules, but it's just best practices for when you're out there, and I don't think a lot of people really know or have been showed the proper ways to kind of recreate in the backcountry, and mainly just leave what you find, and pick up after yourself are probably the 2 most important. And I think the one you guys probably think is the most important is respect wildlife, which is number 6.
Exactly.
So
Number 6. Man, can we get that up to number 1? No.
so the way to remember it is you got your antlers. So this
Okay.
is 6.
Gotcha.
And respect wildlife. So,
Clever.
yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be my next point. When you go in the woods, don't leave your trash. Take it with you, because these animals can ingest it, and or whatever.
Good point. The video I sent you yesterday from Oak Ridge of the deer that had a tomato cage wrapped around its torso, and Officer Roy Smith was able to tranquilize it and cut that cage off of it. Now I realize that somebody didn't intentionally do that, but that's just an example of how animals can get caught in human-made products.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've been hunting, and we went coon hunting, and there was a raccoon that we killed, and it had a Yoo-hoo can on its hand.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah, so it tried to get the chocolate out of the Yoo-hoo can, and it got stuck.
So
And
it's
it had
carrying
been-
that around.
Yeah, it had been on there so long that it was silver, where it had climbed trees with the can on its hand.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Good example.
Yeah.
something as small as a can can
Yeah, you think
really
that's
mess
it's
up an
aluminum
animal.
Can somebody will pick it up, but an animal might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen deer with 6-pack rings around their legs. Had a bear a few years ago with a cheese ball thing stuck over its head. Sounds comical, but it went for like
Jeez.
2 weeks with that thing on its head and almost starved to death. It was emaciated by the time Shelly Hammonds was able to dart it and get that off. So
Wow.
just a few examples of
Leave no
think-
trace. Yeah. Take your
please.
trash out. Yeah.
Yes.
Please. One cool thing, we have a vendor actually doing a she sells these soaps and things, but she's going to do a Leave No Trace shower demo.
I saw that, and I wasn't
Yeah.
sure what I was looking at. So
Yeah.
outdoor shower and
So
leave
if
no
you want
trace.
to wash yourself in the backcountry, if you're out there for
Yeah.
several days, and she'll show you the best way to go about that. So.
Cool.
The
Interesting.
G-rated
Yes.
version right here. Okay, great.
Just
Yeah.
a demo, not a.
Not an actual shower. All right.
Yeah, that was a head scratcher. Right there.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Just like people start talking about cougars in Tennessee. If you Google that, just be ready for what you may find out. Put mountain lions
Yeah.
in Tennessee.
Yeah, yeah.
If you go looking.
So let's transition to John over here and tell us, remind folks about the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers group and what y'all do, but then how you're a partner with Meet the Mountains and things y'all are doing with this group.
Okay, so Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, we just became a chapter here in Tennessee a couple months ago. We broke off from the Southeast chapter.
Okay.
So we've been around a little while, but as far as state chapter, just a couple of months. Our mission is basically to keep public lands in public hands.
Yeah.
So in doing that, it's, keeping an eye out for things being sold off and things being grabbed.
Mm-hmm.
But also we try to focus, especially here in the state, on conservation.
Conservation's a big deal, yeah.
Yeah, so whether it's game species or non-game species, we try to help out and do things that we can to, keep animals on the landscape.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're helping TWRA and Trout Unlimited with a stream temperature monitoring program
Okay.
for native trout species. It's just a few of us, but every little bit helps, and that's kind of our view on things is get a few people here and a few people there, and it'll make a big difference in the end.
Absolutely.
So whether it's monitoring temperatures for trout, whether it's counting bats or just whatever, we're willing to help out to do that conservation wise. Now, partner wise, it's getting with groups like Meet the Mountains and Trout Unlimited and all the mountain bike folks, all the horseback riding folks.
All
and,
user groups, yeah.
yeah, basically trailhead diplomacy is what we call it, because everybody uses the same trail. So everybody's got to like one another and get along, because you hear it all the time. All those darn hunters or those darn horseback riders or mountain bikers, and everybody's out there to have fun, and everybody needs to enjoy it. So that's the whole partnership thing. Let's just get together and have a common goal, which is public lands.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our deal for this area.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the Meet the Mountains Festival, we're just glad that we were invited to help out, and we're just going to help out however we can. We don't really have a huge plan as far as what we're doing with the festival. But
some folks may discover you through this and become members of the group, and like I said, it's growing here in Tennessee and got members all across the state. So
yeah, and I mean, I know it's backcountry hunters and anglers, but it's basically anybody that enjoys the outdoors,
the use of public land too.
I mean, it's an advocate for public land. So if you enjoy anything in the outdoors, then we're here to help keep it public.
Cool.
Great
Awesome.
mission. And how could people find out more about your organization?
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers is the website. You just type it in on Google and it'll pop up. And
Google and find anything, right?
yeah, pretty much. As far as the Tennessee chapter, we have a Facebook group and then Instagram, and it's Tennessee Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. Just type it in and find us there. But
Okay.
it's just a small membership fee, and it goes towards public land advocacy, and then on the local level, like I said, we're trying to do a lot of conservation stuff. CWD, we're trying to help with that. Almost forgot about that, but it's present in Tennessee now, so we kind of got to do what we can to mitigate it.
Yep.
So
Yep. All right. Well, we appreciate you being here with us. Back to the event, and I want to make sure we get Jim in here before we run out of time. But Matt, you're going to have a trailer. Tell us what the TWRA is going to be doing here at the festival.
Yeah, we've got a youth outreach trailer is what we call it, and has an airsoft shooting range set up inside it. And, no scary looking assault rifles. I know people are anti that, but we're not want to teach kids how to shoot those, and we'll teach them how to use hunting type rifles with scopes on them, and just try to make marksmen out of them, and hopefully promote them to get them out and go hunting.
Shooting sports, yeah.
And then we have an archery trailer as well, or I'm sorry, an archery exhibit that goes with that. It's foam tipped arrows. So everything I'm doing is very safe. We're not putting anything in their hands that's going to injure them or someone else.
Fun for all ages too.
Absolutely. What I find out is I set this stuff up, and Dad watches for a minute. He's like, "Boy, get out of the way. Let me show you how to do that." Then he can't hit it. Then he's up there.
Yeah.
If we were selling tickets on it, man, it'd be one of them $40 tickets just trying to hit that target by the time it's over with.
Cool. So, yeah, if you want to come out and learn more about what we do, we're going to have a booth, and that's going to be fun. Some fun things for the TWRA out there, and it's going to be a big event. Once again, it's Meet the Mountains Festival. It's free, no charge. Make sure we get that in there August 23rd and 24th in Johnson City at Founders Park. So that's where you'll get involved with all the action there. So there's a lot of things off-site and on-site. So check out the website. It's mtmfest.com. So anything else, Caleb, before we bring in Jim and
I'd just like to say, we hope any proceeds from the festival we can invest back into the outdoor industry and economy and support awesome work that, groups like that Jonathan's involved in with Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. So as we continue to grow the festival, we hope to grow investment in those projects and things that people are doing out there already. So
cool.
Giving right back.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, I think Jonathan's going to slip out and Jim's going to come in. Kayla's going to stay with us and Matt's going to stay with us to chat about fishing opportunities and see how this festival ties in with fishing opportunities in the Upper East Tennessee.
Yeah.
And trout specifically.
In particular, yeah.
So, Jim, we appreciate you being with us today.
Sure, absolutely. Glad to be here.
How long you been with the agency, real quick?
Wow, it's since 1998, so what is that? Gosh.
A little while.
A little while, yeah.
21 years.
And your focus is what? What's your main focus here for the agency?
Well, now it's streams and rivers, any of those, whether it's cold water, warm water, cool water. But my history, I guess my experience primarily is wild trout, or trout fisheries,
trout,
cold water
okay.
fisheries,
Cool.
that sort of thing, yeah.
Well, this Meet the Mountains Festival is tying in a lot of fly casting and fly tying and fishing opportunities and talking about that. So what would you tell folks that are coming up to this area around Johnson City? Where could they find some good trout fishing? What kind of fish are they going to be chasing? What species and that kind of stuff?
Well, and here in East Tennessee, we are just extremely fortunate to have a wealth and diversity of trout fishing opportunities. We've got everything from wild trout streams in the mountains that feature our native trout, the brook trout, to stock streams, that we provide fish for. Our hatcheries do in the spring and in some cases in the fall. We've got 6 fantastic tailwater river trout fisheries like the Clinch and the South Holston and Watauga. We've even got a couple of reservoir trout fisheries that have, trout fishing opportunities year-round in those, including lake trout. And where else could you go in the southeast and catch lake trout? But we've got that, and then we've even got a couple of new, I should say, winter trout fishing opportunities in urban areas. So people that can't really get to or access some of these other ones, they can have that opportunity to catch trout almost on their doorstep. One's down in Knoxville, and we've got a new one that's going to start this winter in Maryville. So lots of opportunities out there for any kind of trout angler. It's primarily rainbow, brook, and brown trout. Those are our 3 species, with the two lakes that I mentioned that have lake trout fisheries.
So the brook trout is our only native, right?
That's the only one that's actually native to Tennessee, yes. Yeah.
We've been doing a lot of work on those in the past few years, trying to bring those back.
We have, and we're really focusing on that now. We've helped in the past with projects, that the Park Service has done, a couple of their really big projects like Sam's Creek and that Lynn Camp Prong that they did recently. But now we're kind of emphasizing doing some of our own streams now. So we've got a couple that we've recently finished, a couple that are underway, and then we've got a set of streams that we're looking to begin work on in the future as well.
Okay, awesome. If you want to learn more about streams and species of fish and things like that, tnwildlife.org is a great place to get that information. Say if someone comes to this festival, they go to the fly casting water zone and they go to the clinic that's going to show them how to tie a fly, and they're going to do all this, and they're thinking, man, I want to go fishing on Sunday or whatever day it is the next day. And where would you tell them to go? How would you tell them to get started?
Well, if you're new, I would probably go to one of our mountain streams. Those wild trout are not that hard to catch. They're opportunistic. They're on kind of a limited food supply up there, so they can't afford to be real picky. So if you're just starting out, your skills aren't that great. You're working on those. That would be a great place to go. One of our wild trout streams, probably in Carter, Johnson County, Doe River up through Roan Mountain State Park would be a fantastic one. We stock some fish in there, but it's primarily a wild trout fishery for rainbow and brown trout. And That's a great place to go, and you don't have to be an expert to be able to catch, some fish on,
I might have
on
a
fly in
chance.
there. Yeah.
Maybe we should go,
I
Matt.
need to go learn how, and we'll go do it, man.
Right.
What blows my mind is there are 110 streams in East Tennessee outside of the national park
Yes.
to trout fish. Is that correct?
Well, those are the ones that have brook trout.
Just brookies.
Add a few hundred more that have other, the other two species, rainbows and browns. So
Hundreds
got-
of streams of
it's
trout fish.
I use the figure 600 miles. There's about 600 miles of wild trout water in East Tennessee, up and down East Tennessee. So
That's more
that's
than a
lot.
lifetime
Yeah,
for one angler to fish.
it sure is. Yeah.
And one other thing I was going to throw out there, you can catch the native brookies, which they don't usually get very big, the wild ones,
Right.
but you can go catch up to, what is it, a 4-pound brook trout in a trail water? Is that what the record is?
Yes, I think the current state record now is from the Caney Fork out in Region 3, and that fish was, I think, just over 4. But we've sampled one. We've taken one in one of our electrofishing samples from the Boontail water. That at the time we caught it would have been a state record. It was over 4 pounds. So.
Oh, man.
So we have that potential over here too, but typically it's going to be in the bigger systems, like a tailwater, not the mountain streams. You won't get a 4-pounder in the mountain streams.
Yeah.
Maybe a 10 or 11 incher is probably where you
Right.
ought to set your goal.
They
there.
might
But,
fight harder in the mountain streams. What do you think?
Go find out.
So what if somebody doesn't want to chase trout? Is there some smallmouth and red eye and things like that in those streams?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we've got those farther down. The trout would tend to be at the higher elevations.
Yeah.
If you come on down in the systems, the Nolichucky is a great smallmouth fishery. The Pigeon River over here in Cocke County is an outstanding. And even though that's a tailwater, technically it's probably one of the, I would consider it the best smallmouth fishery that we have here in East Tennessee. So, and then, if you go on down like Blount County, there's a little river down that way. So,
What would you say is your favorite fish to chase? And if you had time off, where would you go?
it just depends on what's going on. I'm an opportunist when it comes to fishing. It's whatever's going at the time, so that's what I'm going to go after. But I love trout, but stripers, smallmouth, walleyes, everything. That's what I like to catch.
Awesome.
And we're moving into the fall here. Don't trout spawn in the fall?
The
Some
brook and brown
species?
trout do. Those are fall spawners. Yes.
So good opportunity to catch those fish
Absolutely.
coming up.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate you, Jim. Thanks for jumping in here and giving us some of this information. This is
You're
great.
quite welcome. Thank
We'll
you.
have to do a whole show with you sometime.
Absolutely. Be glad to.
Awesome.
Kayla, thank you.
Thank you.
Meet the Mountains Festival, 23rd, 24th of August, Founders Park, Johnson City, Tennessee. It's all free, a lot of music, a lot of fun. Anything outdoors related is probably going to be there. Food vendors probably, and all kinds of fun stuff.
Beer,
And
music.
marketplaces, you can trade your gear and listen to some music and just get outside, right?
That's right.
Get outside and meet the mountains. All right, Matt, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be seeing you next time on Tennessee WildCast, and y'all have a good one.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee WildCast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.